we're back to Hobby Life, and we are at our last segment and talking about tabletop games.
This time on the set, we have James with us. So James started out as a video game developer, am I correct?
That's correct.
So now you're shifting your angle more into tabletop. So can you tell us why the sudden shift?
Okay, so I've been in the game development industry for 12 years now.
Whoa. Okay. A long
Yeah,
time.
so we've been working on a lot of games, a lot of games for clients, and then we shifted a few years ago to make, not shifted, more expanded towards making our own
Okay.
games, right? And then during that time, we saw that there was a lot of growing interest for tabletop.
Yeah.
Game cafes were popping up.
Yeah.
And then at some point, I even attended this gigantic conference in Indiana. It's called Gen Con, which just recently
Wow.
ended
In
Indiana?
last week.
Wow.
It,
Okay.
it was the biggest conference I'd ever seen, and it's like the community was fantastic. So I felt like, you know what, I'm pretty sure there are a lot of game designers in the Philippines who are not getting that much support or some sort of help in actually getting their games out.
Yeah.
So I said, why not help them out? And I know there are a lot of designers already who are trying to self-publish, and it's a great thing to support. And for those people who have challenges in doing that, I believe that providing a system for them to actually work with in order to get their games out would be a great thing.
So I'm correct to assume that you're actually helping Thomas out in this game.
Yes.
So can you tell me like what exactly the game is about? More on
the
developing-
publishing side
yeah.
of it. Yeah.
Well,
What
well-
goes through with all the processes?
I'd say that we're helping each other. I would say that the publisher and a game designer have this symbiotic relationship. Publishers need content like games, and designers need help in promoting their games so
Yeah.
that they can just focus on the design, and we can worry about production in both art and print, and maybe even promote it, right? So that's what I'm trying to do with this one. So I met Thomas actually very recently.
like how recent?
A number of months. I can't remember anymore. It's
Okay.
just he feels like an old friend, right?
Oh.
Right? Because we connect in a lot of things. We like games and so on. So and then even the design part, because I also design on the side, and we compare notes. We try each other's games,
Oh,
and yeah.
that's
So
cool.
it's
A
it's a
collaboration.
it is a great community. It's a very supportive, and that's one of the reasons why I'm so encouraged to actually do something about it, right? So yeah, so
Actually.
so right now I'm working with designers. I'm looking for designers to who have games that
Yeah.
that are working, and then we would help them polish it off, and then start the production process, and at some point release it.
Oh.
So when can we expect the game that you're both working on?
So I'm working with 3 designers right now, and Thomas
Okay.
is his game is actually going to be the first one
To be
out
published.
the door. Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
that's cool.
So we expect that game to be launched in a local event called the Electronic Sports Gaming Show, sometime this October 23 or 22, 25, I think.
All right.
And there's this category in that event wherein they're actually showing indie games. It's called Indie Arena,
Oh.
by our friends Gwen Foster and the main organizer Jobert. And what they do is they actually provide a number of tables, and then have people try out the games there.
Oh, okay.
So it's
Oh,
not
so
a
you get, like-
competition, it's just a showcase.
No, yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And the best part is the people can actually play it, and then
Yeah.
the designers.
They can like hop from one table to another.
Absolutely,
Oh,
they
that's
they
cool.
get to
Oh,
like
that's
it, and
really
then if they
cool.
want to buy it, they can buy it from there. So it's like it's a nice way to launch it and introduce a product to the community. And we're
Yeah, it
hoping
is.
to actually have more of those conferences. That's why I heard in the earlier segment, Alex talked about Cardboard Con.
Carton
Con.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So
It's a very cute name.
it is. It's I love the name, and it's so great to hear that the community is really coming together to help each other, and
Thank you, Cardboard Club.
yeah. And so it's a very encouraging, because if you're trying to bring in an industry, build an industry, create opportunity for designers to actually get their games to market, a waiting, supportive community is a great thing. So yeah, so way to go with that.
So you're talking about publishing and games, so we'd like to know what your history behind tabletop games are or is.
Back in the day, no. So
Oh, wait.
yeah, I'm gaming is life for me. gaming is my day job, right? So and my night job also. So I love it, right?
It's
So
your job and
yeah,
your hobby.
it's beautiful. I love it. My first game is probably chess. Yeah. So yeah, more of the classic ones. And then I totally enjoyed Game of the Generals, and then played a bit of Monopoly and Cluedo. But
We were in grade school at that time, right? When we
Yeah.
first started.
yeah,
so
I think everyone started. It's been those games have been out for I don't know 10
Game of
million
the
years.
Generals.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
beautiful.
yes.
But the real I got bitten by that bug, the board game bug, when a friend of mine, also a very creative game designer, Toby Abad, he introduced me to this game called. Oh
What
no,
does
I
that mean?
cannot
If
remember
you
the
can
game.
remember the title, what did you do in the game?
The game is a story making game. So you played in a group.
Are they card-based?
It's a card-based game.
Oh,
the one
I
with
feel like we
Cyanide
played
and
it.
Happiness?
No, not that. You remember, are the cards
No,
like long cards?
it is called Once Upon a Time.
Ayun!
Oh, okay,
Once
We
upon-
played
okay. Yeah,
that.
we did.
We did play
Yeah,
that.
so it's a beautiful game. It involves a bunch of players, and then everyone's given an ending, and then a bunch of story elements, and they start making a game based on a
You start
story.
make a plot, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And then the goal was for for the players, in order to win, you have to end with your ending, the ending card.
Oh.
And then for me, it opened a gigantic world. I thought it was just Cluedo or Monopoly in the game.
yeah.
I wasn't aware of all the other games out
We
there.
once thought it was just Snake and Ladders.
Absolutely.
Grade
right.
school.
So
Grade school us.
yeah, so
Exactly.
yeah, so my friend helped me transition into really, I don't know, unique gaming experiences, different mechanics, and I love those, right? So I also played a bunch of RPGs.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
probably influenced a lot of your work.
Very much. It's a great experience. It's a great escape. You go through your job, and then you go to your job, or you go to school or whatnot, and then you play. You play the game, and then it's a momentary escape from whatever it is from your life, right? So
And you get to be someone else.
absolutely, that's one of the things,
Right.
So it's a different world every single time. So I'm not surprised that a lot of people are getting into the hobby. I also believe that since when the digital era, I mean, I'm talking about the gadgets like iPhones and iPads and stuff like that, people started playing that, and at some point there was some sort of feeling wherein they need to try something different, something new,
Yeah,
right? Something more tactile, right?
Concrete.
So absolutely, yeah. So board games actually is a nice alternative to spending the time. In also it's a way to spend time with your family, with
Yeah.
your friends,
Yeah, I
right? I
understand.
mean,
Even if it's just like the Uno.
yeah,
game,
absolutely.
right?
That's a fun game,
It's a
right?
classic.
yeah. So a lot of people nowadays, it's so sad when people hang out, families hang out, their faces are glued to the screens of the phones,
yeah.
right?
So why not bring a deck of cards?
Yes, exactly. And it's a great way to learn about people, like how
Exactly.
they react to certain challenges in the game, or
That's fun to
Yeah.
watch.
Cards Against Humanity.
I'm known to rage while I play video
Yeah,
games, so
yeah.
sometimes I rage when I card games.
okay, I am afraid. okay.
We
Okay,
have
so
one friend who screams
Yeah, we have one friend who screams all throughout.
all throughout the
Sometimes when
game.
he doesn't even know what he's doing.
Right.
Like, go! Just do that.
and that's the best part. It's exhilarating, that
Exactly.
feeling, right? So, and I know a lot of designers, when they design something, it's more of they design to capture an emotion or a feeling, right? So one of
I
your
think
guests,
Thomas
Thomas is
mentioned
also
that a
that.
while ago.
It's a great way to create a fun game. If you target an emotion or experience, you come up with a great game.
So what's your preference in gaming, basically?
Yeah.
Preference?
Yeah, when you
That's
Or
a
unless
very
you-
big topic.
Unless you're the type that I want to try them all. Are you
Yeah.
that type?
I typically try them all. I love learning new systems, new mechanics. It's like, oh, this is how they play a finance game, or this is how trading is in this game, or this is how fighting is, or this is how some other dice mechanic works out. So it's one of the things that I like about games.
developing games,
I've actually
Mhm.
noticed that games are getting more and more
complicated.
complicated. Yeah, the
Yeah,
most
yeah.
recent game I played, Ashes.
Ah,
Yeah,
yes,
it's got
that's a good game.
die, it's got
Right.
cards, it's got
Right.
second move, third move.
I'd say that.
But I enjoyed it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say that a lot of different game designers and publishers, they target different markets. Ashes, I think it's more of the mid-core market,
Yeah.
mid-core to core, wherein it's these are the people who actually like the really complex mechanics and so on. But there are also other games like the Epic Gaming Regiments games. They're typically casual. They're gateway games. That's what we call them.
Gateway games.
Gateway games. It's like
It's an entry level thing.
exactly. It's a way for you to
Oh.
introduce a friend into the hobby,
Oh,
and it's easy to grasp, right?
okay.
So
Yeah.
so that's it. And those are great because it's something that you can play with your friends and your children or nephews or nieces
And they can get it easily, right?
easily. It's done. You play it 10-15 minutes, and then you're done. And if you want to play more, you just play it again.
I'm sure if you enjoy it, you'd like to play it more.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
You'd like eventually you'd like to evolve to the harder games.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
gonna have to start immersing yourself into more of the.
Yeah, and then later on they level up into the
Yeah, exactly.
mid-core
I'm
categories.
sure that's where we
and then-
began.
I think I'm
Cards ag-
still there.
Cards Against Humanity, and then slowly working our
Cards
way
Against
up.
Humanity, Smash Up.
Yeah,
Really
or you
good.
can stay where you are, and it's
Why
because it's
not?
what the type of game that you enjoy. It's plenty of flavors, different flavors for every type of gamer.
And for every level too.
Absolutely, right? So yeah,
Right.
it's a beautiful hobby.
So, what's the first? Oh wait, first game na lang. What's your most favorite game or your favorite game
Oh,
to play?
I guess it would show with the type of a game that you have a lot of, right? So
I'm guessing RPGs.
that would be a close second.
Okay,
I
almost.
started getting into it heavily when I started playing Magic the Gathering. For
Oh,
me,
okay.
that was like, okay, this is it.
That was your gateway.
This is where my money goes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes,
When you invest in a card game, it's so good.
It's beautiful. I think it's beyond 20 years now. And
Magic
So
the
you're
it's,
still
It's
a pretty
actually-
active player.
oh, gaming is life. I
Why
play.
not?
I don't
Live by
compete.
that motto
I don't,
every day.
Yeah, I don't compete anymore, but yeah, it's I still play. We have a number of players. I know a number of players who love the game, and they're different formats. So it's a
Yeah,
great way to
they're
do it.
different formats.
Yeah.
So how different is like Magic the Gathering compared to other tabletop games?
Okay, so Magic's considered as a collectible card game, a CCG.
Yeah.
That means over time, the publisher will be releasing
Another new
Another set.
it's an expansion, yes. That usually introduces new mechanics to make the game a bit different, right? They also have different themes.
Yeah,
right?
they do.
Yeah. So for players who wants a new experience, that itch gets scratched by the new mechanics and the new theme and so on. So that's a CCG. For tabletop, for board games, it's a one experience and it's done, right? So yeah. So
That's true.
it depends on what you prefer, right?
But you've already
mhm.
started with the tabletop. How big has your collection been since you've started?
I have a very, very small collection. I'm very choosy about the games that I buy. Right? Very choosy. And I buy something because I like the mechanic, and then I buy it because I want to research. That's what I do. So to answer your question, it's probably like
That way you
maybe-
can also help publish more games and.
yeah, or I understand something. Oh, okay, this would work with this other game. So that's a great thing. I'd say it's, compared to others, it's very small. It's maybe it's just a shelf full
Oh.
of
Still
product, but
organized.
that's it.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah. Plus, nowadays you don't even need to have a big collection
No, you
because
don't. You can practically
Share
just
with
share.
others.
yeah, you can share with others. You go to a game cafe, you play. You have all the access to all of the great games there, and then you sign up with Cardboard Club.
Cardboard
Yeah,
Club.
Cardboard Club.
Yeah. So
Sadly.
that's all the time we have left. So before we end, would you like to advertise companies you're in, Facebook pages,
Or any games that are
About
gonna
to be
be on the
developed.
racks.
I'm speaking there.
Yeah.
So for tabletop, for Tactile Studios, please watch out for it. For the games that we're releasing later this year, more to come. Not much information about that. For Indigo
It's
Entertainment,
a tease.
yeah, that's right. So, but you actually saw one of the products that Thomas did, right? So that's one of them. The refrigerators, right? For Indigo Entertainment, we do have this game out called Agent Aliens. It's like Mega Man when
Oh.
Zombie Tsunami rolled into one. So check it out. And then there's this other game that we're making. It's a mech game. Please do follow us on Facebook. Look for Garrison Archangel. One thing that I would like to say is for the community to support your game developers, your designers.
Buy their games.
It's a way to really help the community grow
Love
and
local.
evolve. That's right.
Love local guys. So that's all the time we have left for Hobby Life. Thank you for joining us
Tune
again.
in.
Thank you, James,
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
James. Tune
Yeah.
in next week for another episode.
of Hobby Life. Thank you.
Don't stand